don't know, boy, I think we might be rolling out.
Live, sir.
Yeah. Don't say it again. Are you live? It's live.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Priest and Officer Abba. This is Priest and Officer Award. Right, today is the Sabbath service. So I did. As well. Today is the Sabbath service, and we got to keep the tradition of what we've been taught. We gotta observe the Most High God's high holy day, and learn these scriptures in the Bible that the Lord wants to learn this week. So with that, just the men up here, we're going to have margin stand, margin, and shofar. It's full. It's like Israel. We're going to get into the prayers. We're going to do the prayers. We're going to do the wine and wine. We're going to do all the things that we're supposed to do for the Sabbath service. Pass me your books for pass me a chalice for sure.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Barakatah. La Yasha'ala, which means to Israel.
That and the scroll. Imagine which means to stand. The Pano Akadam means sorry, turn face to east. We're going to set up the prayers in the Hebrew.
This is the Lord's Prayer in Lashon Kodash. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak Wakah, Ala'ah, Rakazayka, Hayah, Aisha, Baharat Kazah, Kawah, Hayah, Washemayim, Netanyahu, Lacham, Kal, Yawun, Wasalachnaw, Kawawakinaw, Kasalachnaw, Kawawak Yanaw, Wala'ah, Tabi'aynaw, Banasayawun, Abo, Awishaynaw, Mayur, Wa, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Wahatapara, La'ayululim, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. On earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. So be it. This is the Hakat, the prayer for the power. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Baruchah, Nathanahu, Haka, Kal Makala, Wakal Madawa,
Kal Madawa,
Latahar, Hamakazariah, Haka, Lahakwiel, Hamathiel, Haka, Al-Rakwa, Atamala, Lagor Barashem Yahushai, the water, Aman.
And then, Yahweh in the name of Yahushua,
Yahweh in the name of Yahushai,
please give us
the power
to heal,
to heal
all manner of sickness,
all manner of sickness,
and all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
power to cleanse lepers,
the power to cleanse the lepers,
power to raise the dead,
the power to raise the dead,
power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out,
to cast them out
in the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Bless Israel.
This is the prayer to bless Israel in the last one Kodash. Yahweh, Barashem, Yahushai, Barak Lanawa, Yisrael, Wahabayah, Sapariah, Barak, Barashem Yahushai, the water Amun.
What we said was, Lord, in the name of Yahushua. Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Oh, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Bless us. And Israel. In the school. In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the prayer, the blessings in the Hebrew, the last one Kodash, the holy tongue. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushai. Wa Mayakala. Wa Alahayim. Makazabaya. Alawak Yahanna. Halawapil. Harasaranya. Akwakazayaya. Hayayaya. Wa Ahwapil. Yahweh Barashem. Yahushai. Water Amur.
In the angels. Blessed be Yahweh.
And
Yahushua.
And Michael.
And the angels.
Commander General Yohanna.
The generals.
The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. This is Psalms 121 in the Lashon Kodash, the Hebrew, the holy tongue. I-S-U-P-K, Al-Hahorium, Mahayim, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waharakazah, Al-Yanadun, Namawat, Wagalka, Al-Yanawud, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawud, Wala'a, Yayashud, Shabamor, Yashur Allah, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Kazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamud, Ashamash, La'a, Yakaika, Wayara, Balayla, Yahweh, Yashmor, Makalai, Yashmor, Askapashka, Yahweh, Yashmor, Tazaka, Wabaka, Maika, Why?
And they, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee
Not slumber.
will not slumber. Behold,
He that keepeth Israel.
he that keepeth Israel
Neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The Lord will be by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
Preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in
This time forth.
from this time forth
And even forevermore.
and even forevermore. All right, Psalms 83 in the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue, in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayalka, Al-Bakarash.
Al-Bakarash.
Wa al-Tashakwat.
Al-Tashakwat.
Al-Kayahana.
Al-Kayahana.
Al-Yabika.
Al-Yabika.
Yahama.
Yahama.
Yahwud.
Yahwud.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Aimaka.
Al-Aimaka.
Yawayanwa. Sawadah.
Sawadah.
Wayak.
Wayak.
Ya ai tazawo.
Ai tazawo.
Ai tazabawanyaka.
Ai tazabawanyaka.
Amowa.
Amowa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Manakakira.
Manakakira.
Magawa. Magawa.
Magawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yakator.
Yakator.
Kem Yashrala.
Kem Yashrala.
Aibada.
Aibada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Now what does that work?
Now what I does it work?
Now I does it work. No but. Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Alika.
Alika.
But by the rock.
By the rock.
Yakarakwa.
Yakarakwa.
Aholia.
Aholia.
Adawun.
Adawun.
Wayashimai.
Wayashimai.
Alayum.
Alayum.
Mawabo.
Mawabo.
Wahagorio.
Wahagorio.
Wabo. Wa'anawun. Wa'anwala. Palasha. Anyashabya. Kazawo. Gamashawo. Nalawat. Aimun. Hayawa. Zawai. Labonya lawat. Salah. Aishalahum. Ramadian. Kasayar. Sara'a. Kayab. Bayan. Banako. Yashwar. Nasha Madwa. Bayan. Dahara. Haywa. Gaman. Ladabwa. Shayatanwa. Nadayakwa. Haywa. Wakaza abaya. Wakazaba. Wakal Kazmanai. Kal Nasiyakano. Asho. Amowa. Nawasha. Nanawa. Naawat. Alayum. Alaya. Shayadamu. Kagandala. Kakwas. Lapanya Raka. Kaash. Daba Ira. Ya Ira. Wakwalaba. Tola'at. Hawayum. Kandawadakmo. Basa Araka. Wabasa. Wapa'aka. Dobalum. Wala'a. Panlahum. Panawun. Wabakwashwa. Shamka. Yahawa. Yabawashwa. Balawa. Aidai. Wayakaparwa. Wayabadwa. Wayadaiwa. Kayata. Shamka. Yahawa. Labaka. Aliyam. Al-Kahaya. Arakaza.
In the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thy enemies make a tumult.
thy enemies make a trouble.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
Have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
Against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted against thy enemies.
And consulted against thy enemies.
They have said, Come, and let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel
May no more remember.
may no more remember.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
With one consent.
with what we said.
There
are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom
And the Ishmaelites.
and the Israelites. The word.
The Agrees.
The Agrees.
The bull.
The bull.
And then.
And Evan.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
The shores also joined with them.
The shores also joined with them.
They opened the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot. Selah.
You unto them.
You unto them.
Unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
To Sarah.
As to Sisera.
To Jabez.
As to Jabez.
The brick of Esau.
Like a breath of Esau.
Perished in Endor.
Which perished in Endor.
Became as done for the earth.
They became as done for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red.
Make their nobles like a red.
Like the earth.
And like the earth.
Good.
Hey.
All the princes.
All their princes.
As the Ba.
As the Ba.
As the Moon.
And as the Buddha. Who said.
Let's cut them off.
Cut them off.
Who said that?
Who said.
Let's take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves
The house of Yahweh.
the house of Yahweh.
Possession.
In possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wind.
Make them like the wind.
As stumbling before the wind.
As the stone before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
Flames of the mountains of fire.
And as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them
Like tempest.
with thy tempest.
Make them afraid.
And make them afraid
Like stone.
with thy stone.
With the face of a shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
They seek thy name.
That they may see thy name. Power. Let them be confounded. And go forever. Hey.
With the shame.
Let them be put to shame. And perish.
And they know.
That men may know
That God.
that there
They below.
whose name alone
Is Yahweh.
is Yahweh,
Most high.
or the Most High,
Of all the earth.
over all the earth.
Sorry. We return. Be Sabbath. Needs to be seated. We're going to be at Deuteronomy, the 38th. Oh, Sloppy. We're going to be at Genesis, Sloppy. We're going to be at Genesis, 38th chapter. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, shalom.
So we're going to start in Hebrew for Genesis, the 38th chapter. Give everybody a second to get it. So this is Genesis. I want to click the first in the last mark of the Hebrew. This is Genesis chapter 38, verse 1. Waya, Slavic. Waya, Ba'ith, Hahawa'a, Wa Yorad, Yaha Wada, Ma'ith, Ak Yawa, What Yat, Ayash, Dalamya, Wa Shamwa, Kha Yara. Verse 2. Wa Ya Ra'a Sham. Ya Ha Wada Ba Ayash Kana Anya Wa Shamwa Was Shawai Waya Kwa Waya Ba'a Al Ya. Verse 3. Wathahar Wathalad Bun Waya Kwara'a Ash Shamwa Ar. Verse 4. Wathahar I Wad Wathalad Bun Wata Kwara'a Ah Shamwa Ah Wanan.
Verse 5. Wathasap, Iwad, Wathalad, Bun, Wathakwara'a, Shamwa, Shalah, Wahaya, Bakazya, Bala, Gatha, Afwa. Verse 6. Wayakwak, Yahawada, Asha, La'ai, Baka, Warwa, Washama, Thamar. Verse 7. Ya, Ir, Ba, Kawar, Yahawada, Rai, Ba'ai, Yunya, Yahweh, Wayamathawa, Yahweh. That's the end of 7. Can you read the English over for sure?
Okay. This is Genesis 38, verses 1. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Harah. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her.
Okay, so this is a heathen, right? War?
Oh, come, Canaanite.
Oh, Canaanite woman, yeah. So, yeah, that's number one. We first of all, as we know, interracial marriage is a no-no. We can't sleep with the heathen. Our daughters can't lie with their sons. Their daughters can't lie with our sons. Deuteronomy 7:3. We have to we're a family. We got to stick to one another. We have to marry one of the nation of Israel. Go on, Lord.
Verse 3. And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name Verse 4. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. Verse 5. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah, and he was at Shazir when she bare him.
So she's having children. We read over what in verse 7.
Also, so I could bring out some. And you see, in the nation of Israel, we're about family, right? So when Judah took this woman to wife, what did he start doing? He went in unto her, and they started bearing children, because bearing children what strengthens your nation. You understand? So when you practice murder, which they call in this kingdom abortion, right? What are you doing? You're killing your nation. You're killing those spirits, and you're denying your ancestors from coming back, because reincarnation is in the Bible. So that spirit that's coming back through the seed of the man, that could be one of your potential one of your ancestors coming back. That if you go through with that murder, you're denying the chance of being born back into this earth. So just wanted to focus on that. Verse 6. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And see, he had a wife, not a girlfriend. See, there's no girlfriends in the Bible. There's wives. Right? Verse 7. And Judah's firstborn was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him.
See, Israel, we can't be wicked in the sight of the Lord. Everything that we're taught and everything that we learn in these classes, we gotta apply, because we'll get slew just like got slew if we choose to be wicked. We choose to disobey what our fathers teach us. we have to be on point. We got to learn from our fathers, learn from our forefathers, learn from these scriptures, so we don't get screwed down. Because these are just examples of what the Lord can do to us if we choose to go into that wicked path. He already put us in our land of captivity. We've been in captivity after captivity because we chose to go against the Most High God. Right. The ultimate punishment is death. So we don't want that. So we should adhere to these laws, statutes, and commandments.
And the next sentence, sir.
Come, next up.
It's Genesis 38, verse 8, and the last one, Kodash. Wa Amar, Yaha, Wat, Tha, La'ab, Nun, Ba, Al, Ashak, Af, Yan, Waya, Wayab, Ma, Athar, Wa. Wahaquam, because I, La'af, Yan, verse 9. Wayadai, Awana, Kaya, La'ab, Lan, Lawa, Yahaya, Hatazar, Hazarai, Wahaya, Ba, Al, Ashak, Afayan, Washa, Tha, Araiha, La, Balakya, Nathan, Tazarai, La'afyan, verse 10. Wayarai, by Yanya, Yahweh, Ashar, Aisha, Wayamat, Gum, Athon, I think that's What? Verse 11. Wa Amar, Yaha, What? Yahawada, Lathamar, Balathan, Shabya, Allah, Mana, Bayat, Abayat, I, Yaga, Salah, Banaya, Baya, Omar, Gakwa, Yamartha, Gum, Hawa'a, Ba'ath, Yan, Wathal, Wathalan, Wathalak, Amar, Wathashab, Bayath, Abayah. Verse 12. Wayor Gun, Wayarabwa, Hayama Yum, Hayam Yum, Watha Ma, Bath, Shawai, Ashak, Yahawada, Wagathum, Yahawada, Waya, Il, Gatazaya, Ayenwa, Hawa'a, Hai Yartha, Wa'aithawa, Hai Walamya, Thum Natha, verse 13. Wayagun, Lahath Lamar, Hana, Chamayak, Chamayak, Ayla, Thum Natha, Lagaz, Il, Taza verse 14. Watasar, Gadia, Alama, Nawatha, Ma'aila, Ya, Wathashai, Kaz, Ba'ai, Tazai, Yak, Watha, Lak, Wathashab, Wapatha, Al-Yan, Yum, Ashur, Il, the rock, Thumb, Natha, Chaya, the Atha, Gadal, Allah, Yathawa, La'a, Na, Lawa, Lashak, La'ashak. Verse 15, what's on the 7? Genesis 38, verse 8, in the English. And Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. Okay. Verse 8, and Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother.
See, in Israel, when if the Israelite man dies, has a wife, and then conceive, then have children with his wife, then his brother will go into her and marry her and raise up seed for him, raise up children for him. So that firstborn son we will even name him after him. So his name won't get lost in the earth. So his name will stay in the earth.
Right. Right, and then you can see here in verse 8 when it says, go in unto thy brother's wife. Go in unto means sexual relations. Right. And it says marriage, showing you that sex according to the Bible is marriage. Right. Verse 9. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he stood it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother.
See, Israel, brotherhood is a weapon. We need brotherhood, and this was not a brotherly act because he knew the seed was not. He knew the tradition of Israel because Judah, his father taught him, and he just was being evil and wicked, and then wanted to raise up seed in his brother's name. Read on the more.
Verse 10. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also.
And it displeased the Lord so much that he got killed for it. See, we have to show brother. We have to be brotherly towards one another, and we have to keep these traditions and keep the law of the brother. Read.
Verse 11. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house.
So Judah told Tamar, his daughter-in-law, to remain a widow. So Judah wanted to keep the law. He wanted to allow his son to, when he got of age, to go into her, to raise up seed for the brother that was fallen. But we'll see what happens.
It's like, if I may also, it goes to show you that the only time a woman is free from that marriage is if her husband dies. Then she's free or allowed, according to the law, to get another husband. Right. So that's why her first husband, right, he passed away. Then the second husband, the brother, was supposed to raise up seed for his brother, and he did wicked against the Lord, and the Lord slew him. So Jacob had a third son. So that's why Jacob told her, he's still a young boy, wait until he becomes of marriageable age, then maybe you could, maybe you could marry him. The Lord don't kill him. You have a question, sister?
There is a sister who is separated from her husband, right? Not divorced, but just separated for reasons, for certain reasons. And she separated from her husband. Is she still by law to be able to fulfill her wifely duties to her husband? Maybe that is she still under the law of her husband,
Yeah,
even
because
though she may be separated?
Christ says because they're still married. And they have to work it out between, in their relationship. That's between them, but according to the law, that is still her husband. Even though he put her away, but she cannot take another man. So they would have to reconcile, and if she's a sister in here, she would have to get counsel from, a camp leader or one of the, superior officers. All right, sis? Okay. Scott. I'm going to read on verse 10. And the thing which he displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So so the Lord slew him. The Lord slew him. So, we have verse 11. Okay, then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house till Shelah, my son, be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. Tamar went and dwelt in his father's house. Verse 12. And in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. In the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. So this Judah's wife died. His wife died. So the father of the two sons, Judah, his wife died. And Judah was comforted and went unto his sheep shearers in Timnah, he and his friend Hira the Adummanite. So Judah went to go to get comfort after his wife passed. Verse 13. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep. Verse 14. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way of Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was growing, and she was not given unto him to wife. So, so Judah's wife died. So he went to get comforted, and Tamar, the widow of Er, the one who died, she went to put on she took off her widow's clothing, and she went to open place where Judah was, where Judah was, because she saw that his youngest son wasn't given to her for marriage. So she took upon herself to try to get a child out of the situation, as we're going to find out. So we're back in the Hebrew. So I'm going to read Genesis chapter 38 and verse 15. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 38 and verse 15. Waya Ra'ah, Yahweh, Waya Chashba, Laza Wadna, Kaya, Kasafa, Panya. Verse 16. Wayat Aliyah al Hadrak, Waya Amar Haba Na'a Aba Wa'a Al Yika Kaya La'a Yadai Kaya Kalahwa Hawa'a Watha Amar Ma Tha Thun Lawa Laya, Kaya, Bawa, Al Ya. 17. Waya Amar Anakya Ashalak Gadya Il Zayam Man Hataza Ein Watha Amar Am Tathan Al Rab One I Shalakha Waya Amar Ma Ha I Rab One Ashara Athan Laka Watha Amar Kha Tham Mak Wa Yalak Wa Tak Ashar Bayadak Bayaka Wayathan La Wayaba'a Allah Aliyah Wa Thahar Lawa. Verse 19. Wa Thaquam Wa Thalak Wa Thasar Taza Yapa Ma'al Ya Wathala Pash Bagadia Ala Alamanawaha. Verse 20. Waya Shalak Yaha Wada Gadia Ha I Zayam Bayad Ra I Hawa Ha I Lamia Lakwa Ha I Rabwan Maya Ha Asha La Sahiwala Ma Taza Verse 21. Waya Sha'al Anashya Makwama La Amar Ayash Hakwa Dasha Ha Wa'a Ba'ai Yun Al Had the Rock Waya Amarwa La'aha Yatha Baza Kwa Dasha. That's the end of the Hebrew. So we take it back in English. Genesis chapter 38 and verse 14 of the show.
Genesis 38.
15, sorry.
Genesis 38, verse 15 in English. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot because she had covered her face.
So this was Timnah. Timnah, she, as you read in verse 14, she saw that Shelah was grown, so she heard that Judah was going to shear the sheep down by the way, and Judah, she covered her face. Judah thought that she was a harlot because she took off her widow's garments. Read on.
Verse 16. And he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in unto me?
So Timnah, she was just not going to let Judah just have sexual relations with her without having something that she could hold on to prove when time came when time came, if she were to conceive and give birth, she will have something to show who the child belongs to. Read on, board.
Verse 17. And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? Verse 18. And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him.
So she received the pledge, what was his signet, his bracelets, and his staff. And Judah, he recently lost his wife. He just wanted to get comforted. He didn't understand this was his daughter-in-law, but he went into who he thought was a harlot, and she conceived. And we're going to read on more.
Verse 19. And she arose and went away and laid by her veil from her and put on the garments of her widowhood.
So she after they was finished, she went back. She went back. She went her way, and she took off the harlot's garment, and she put back on the garments of her widowhood. She took off her veil. Read.
And also, too, this was done by deception on her part.
Right.
So the sin will not be counted to him because he was deceived. He didn't willfully do it, but he was basically tricked into it, right? Because she dressed in the attire of a harlot, because in that time, a harlot covered her face, right? So it's kind of funny that the harlots back then covered their face and the Muslim women do it today, but that's a different story. But the sin will not be counted to him because it was under false pretenses, or she beguiled him, so to speak. I don't know. So,
verse 20.
that was end of 19.
Okay. We go to 21.
Okay, so verse 20. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend, the Adulamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not.
She was long gone after that. All she wanted was a kid was to get the marriage from Judah youngest son, but she had to go. She went about a different way to get pregnant. Read.
And Salaki, this is written in Old Quaker English, so kid represents a goat.
Right.
So instead of giving her, he promised her a goat. So she said, until you bring the goat to fulfill the deal, I want your ring, which is your signature, right? That's what a signet is your signature, right? Your bracelets and your staff. So then now he sent the goat or the kid, right, which is a goat. And then when she received the payment, he was looking for the pledge that he made, meaning the thing he left before he fulfilled the deal, and now he couldn't find her.
It's not on topic, but I wanted to know, is goat lawful to eat?
Come.
It is,
It parts the.
Oh yeah, goat is lawful.
okay.
As a matter of fact, when you read the Passover, it says you can take from the sheep or the goats. In a place where you can't find lamb. Lamb is preferable because that's the Lord's favorite meat or animal, which is the lamb. But if you're in a place where you can't get lamb for the Passover, you could do the same feast by substituting the lamb with the goat. You just got to follow the same direction as far as roasted with fire, sodden not at all with blood.
What about deer? Is deer lawful?
Deers are lawful. To understand any animal that divided the hoof, meaning has a hard hoof for the split toe and the chew the cud. So deer, goats, sheep, even a giraffe has a hard hoof and chew the cud. But would just don't eat. We're not, privy to those animals in our society, so we don't really eat giraffe. But those characteristics, we can't go wrong. Split hoof and chew the cud. We was at verse 21. Genesis 38, verse 21. Then he asked the men of the place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place.
So when he sent the kid to go to receive his pledge, because he wanted his ring, his signet, his staff, and his bracelet, and he started to ask around the men of the place, where is that? Where was the harlot? The woman he thought was a harlot, but they said there was no harlot. There was no harlot in that place. There wasn't. And we're going to read on further down how this, what was the ending of this interaction. So we're back in the Hebrew. I'll take this one. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 38, and verse 21. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 38, and verse 22, and I'm borrowing it for the Hebrew. Wayashab al Yahawada Waya Amar La'a Ma Taza'ah Ya Wagam Anashya Hamak Wam Amarwa La'a Ha Yatha Baza Kwa Dasha. Verse 23. Waya Amar Yahawada Tha Kwak La Pun Na Nahaya La Boaz Hana Shalachaya Hagadya Hazah Wa Atha La'a Mataza'ah Mataza Atha. Verse 24. Wa ya Ka Ma Shalash. Ka Ma Shalash. Cha Dash Yom. Wa ya God. La Yahawah. La Amar. Za Na Tha. Tamar. Kala Tha. Wagam. Hana. Hara. La Za Nawa. Lazana one Yom. Waya Amar. Yahawah. Hawa Taza Awa. Watha Sharab. Verse 25. Hawa Mawa Taza Ah. Wa Haya Shala Cha Al Kama Ya La Amar La Ayash Ashar Allah Lawa Nakya Hara Wata Amar Hakar Na'a Lamya Hakha Thamah Wa Ha Yalayam Waha Mata Ha Allah. Verse 26. Wa Yakar Yahawada La Yamar Tazad Daka Maman Ya Kaya Al Kan La Na Fa Ya La Shala Banya La Saki. Wa La Ya Sa I-S-R-A-E-L-I-T-E-S. Verse 27. Wa-ya-ha-ya-ba-a-la-da-tha-wa-ha-na Tha-a-wam-yam-baba-ta-na. Verse 28. Wa-ya-ya-ba-la-gatha wa-yathan yad-watha kwak hama-ya-la-da watha kwashar il-wa yad-dewa shanya-la-amar za yataza'a ra'ashna. Back in English, Genesis 38 and 22.
Genesis 38, verse 22. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. Verse 23. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. 24. And it came to pass about 3 months after that, it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt.
So as time went on, her pregnancy showed. And they thought that she just was, she didn't have no husband. She just went about and just laid with any old random man just to fulfill some lust. And the penalty for this was she was going to be burnt for this accusation. But she has a defense, and she's going to, as we read down, we're going to hear it out. Read on, Ward.
Verse 25. Genesis 38, verse 25. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet and the bracelet and the staff.
So as that was, we can see, this was the reason why she kept that signet, that bracelet, that staff. She didn't want no kid to go. She just wanted proof of who laid down with her, of who pregnancy of who she got pregnant by. And Judah he's gonna figure this out momentarily. Read on more.
Genesis 38, verse 26. And Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more.
And Judah acknowledged that those was his things, and he said that she was more righteous than she was more righteous than him, because she could have she waited for Shelah, Judah's son, for him to marry her, but Judah never never handed out the marriage. She never went about marrying those two, giving her to him. And she didn't lay with nobody else. She didn't go out to some heathen or somewhere else. She stayed in that family. She stayed in that family line. She lay with Judah. She lay with him to at least try to keep the seed within that family line. Read on more.
Verse 27. And it says, once he found out who she was, he didn't sleep with her anymore.
Right. Right.
That's the key. And it said, and he knew her again no more. So meaning he didn't do it willingly. It was because of trickery. Right? So,
And I think of a precept about that when he didn't labor her anymore. In the book of the law, God had gave the law that a daughter-in-law is not supposed to sleep with the father-in-law because it causes confusion.
right.
And they'll be put to death. That makes me think that he didn't lie with her anymore because of that law.
Right, he knew the understanding was done, not because, now that he knew who she was, then he understood he couldn't, go back to her. On the deception. Right, so.
Oh, yeah, that's perfectly right. That's perfectly right. As the sister was bringing out, father-in-law and daughter-in-law are not supposed to engage in sexual acts.
Yeah, and the law says it causes confusion. So what is the confusion? What kind of confusion does it cause?
The confusion is between him and his wife. Because if that's his daughter-in-law, say he married a woman with child already, her husband died. So she's with child, and he takes her to wife. Right? So then now he lies with the daughter. That could bring all types of thoughts in his wife's mind. Did he get with me to be with my child? Is he, does he like children or whatever? You know what I mean? It could take the wife, and then now there's strife within the family. Also, the scripture says, also appear all appearance of evil. Meaning it could look away. He's with the mother, now he's with the daughter. So that's what the Most High said. That's the confusion. You're with the mother and the daughter? No. The Most High, Right. So that's why that's the confusion. The way it looks and also what it would do to a family. It pits the mother against the daughter against the mother, So, let's avoid all that. Altogether, the Most High said, don't do it.
And it causes a lot of strife in the family.
Right. That's the confusion, the anger. Genesis 38, verse 27. And it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb. So the time of due date, basically. That's the time of her travail, when she started feeling the birth pains. Today they call those contractions. Right. So that she started going through her contractions and feeling it, and then now they understand that it was twins in her womb. That's right. We're on to Genesis 38, verse 28. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound up his hand a scarlet thread, saying, this came out first.
So as she was giving birth, the baby, one of the baby's hands came out, and the midwife, the one who was helping deliver the babies, she put a string of scarlet thread around to remember and acknowledge, since it was twins, they don't know if identical or not. They want to make sure they know, everyone knows that this is the firstborn. That was the last verse. So we want to go from Genesis the 29th to Genesis 39, the 5th verse. Come.
Genesis 29, 38, 29.
38 and 29.
Genesis 38, verse 29 in the Hebrew. Wayat ba shaya yadwa ba. That's what's that? Wahana. Yaktazar, Akyan, Akua,
Wathamar, Ma, Gar, that's a par, that was a par. Par, Tiza, Alyan, Yakar, Parai, Wayak, Ra, Shamar, Parai, Paratiza, verse 30. That's from Genesis. Verse 30. Wa'athar, Wa'achar, Yakaza, Athayar, Afyawa, Ashar, Il, Yadwa, Ashanya, Wayak, Korah, Shamar, Tazara, Sa, next chapter. Oh, you know, to Genesis 39 and 1. Wasa, Rad, Matazar, Matazarium, Wayak, Wa, and for power, that's a power. That's a power. Power, God. Oh, that's a top. Power, power, Yapar, Sarayas, Par Ayat, Shar, Hata, Bath, Yom, Ayash, Matazaria, Mayad, Yash, La Yom, Ashar, Hawar, Dawa, Shema, Wayatya, Yak, Wa, Ak, Yawasa, Wayatya, Ayash, Mataza, La, Yak, Wayatya, Bad, Yak, Ad, Nayak, Ad, Yawa, Matazar,
Verse 3. Wayara, Ad Nayawa, Baya, Yahweh, Aqua, Wachal, Ashar, Hawaya, Hawa'a, Aisha, Yahweh, Matazala, Matazal, Ya, Bayad, right? Up to God. Wayam, Taza'a, Yawasap, Khan, Ba'ai, Yan, Yawa, Wayasha, Yashat, Shar, Wayashar, Fa, Aqua, Wayak, Quar, Thoa, Il, Wayathwa, Wakal, Yasha, Lawa, Nathak, Bayadwa. Verse 5. Wayathya, Ma'az, Apak, Kway, Yar, Aqua, Bana, Yatwa, Watazala, Baal, Ashar, Yaash, Yasha, Lewa, Wayad, Wabarach, Yahweh, Af, Bayat, Amatazar, Bagala, Yawasap, Wayakya, Wakat, Yahweh, Wakal, Ashar, Yasha, Lewa, Baba, Nath, Wabashar. And in Genesis 38 and 29. And it came to pass, in English, and it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that he behold his brother came out. And she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez.
So the brother that had his hand out first, and the midwife put the scarlet thread on, somehow he drew his hand back, and his other brother came out, and then they called his name Perez because of that.
So I think he came on feet first, because that's what a breech birth is. So his brother stuck his hand out, and something happened in the womb. I don't know if they were fighting or whatever, but he pulled his hand in, and his brother came on feet first. Because it says his first brother Ham came out. And then the second one, it says what? And she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. So that's being born with his feet first. Therefore, his name was called Perez. Verse 30. And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. So even though he had the scarlet band on his hand, now he's the second born because he came out, he put his hand back in, and his brother came out first.
I have a question. Usually when a sister give birth, and there's a breach when the feet come out first today, in medical terms, that's called a C-section. C-section when the feet come out first.
No, because a C-section could be feet first or frontwards. It's just a C-section is a procedure. That's what they call it. It's to the vaginal cavity, like the woman area is not dilated, like you call it, like dilated. You're not dilated enough, meaning the hips didn't spread wide enough. It might be hard for the shoulders to come through. So they just said, okay, we're just going to go through the stomach. That's what a C-section is. It doesn't go through the vaginal cavity. So that's just a procedure. But from back then even to now, a breach is feet first. That's a term for it.
Is that a normal word?
It's not normal. No, that's why it's called a breach. Because remember, even with the story of Jacob, the story of Jacob and Esau, when Esau was coming out, Jacob hand grabbed his heel, meaning he was coming out head first, and Jacob was coming out head first. And in this story, the first came out hand first. So if his hand came through first, it's going to be followed by his head. Right? But he pulled his hand back in, and then his brother came out feet first. That's why she said that breach be upon thee, not upon her, but upon the child, because he came out feet first. And that's why his name is called Perez. Okay, this is Genesis 39, verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt. And chapter 7. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hand of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither.
So Joseph was sold by his brethren, and because he was favored among Jacob. He was favored among Jacob, and his brothers sold him to some Ishmaelites, and they took him down to Egypt.
Right now they sold him to some Egyptians.
Right.
Verse 2, Genesis 39 and verse 2. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian.
So even though Joseph was in captivity, the Lord can still be with you if you do what He said. If you acknowledge Him and keep these laws, such commandments, no matter where you at, if you obey the Lord, He can be with you and prosper you in all that you do.
I wanted to bring out a precept so that when you're righteous before the Most High, when you please the Most High, then your enemies will be at peace with you.
Right. That's certainly true. When you're righteous before the Most High, your enemies will be at peace with you. Right. What's that part?
That's Proverbs 16 and 7.
Proverbs 16 and 7.
When a man's way please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Right. So if you're pleasing the Most High God, and you do what He says, even your enemies are going to be at peace with you, because the Most High God is going to make sure that happens. We can go down to what, 45? 45? And then we'll get praise at 45.
That was it on that, verse 3, verse 2, and verse 2.
We stop in verse 5.
Okay. Genesis 39 and 3. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Verse 4.
And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand.
So Joseph, he was moving up. He was found favor, even though he was a servant. He was getting found favor over his master, because he was doing good in the sight of the Lord. Read the word.
Right, to bring it up to today, you can see, even though we're here in slavery in America, because the Spirit of the Lord that's on us, our talents is used in this kingdom to elevate this kingdom. And because of our talents, the oppressor would take one of us and put him in his cabinet amongst himself to be an advisor. You know, like if you look at Biden, right? President Biden, a lot of his top cabinet members are Israelites. And he got some heathens in it, but his top cabinet members or advisors are Israelites. So just to bring it up to give you an understanding of how Joseph was in his master's house, but being showed favor because he was making him wealthy. So he said, listen, everything I own, I'm going to make you in charge of it. Verse 5, Genesis 39, verse 5. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field.
So for Joseph's sake, he blessed the Egyptian's house. He blessed the Egyptian's house. He had blessed the Egyptian's house. Joseph was doing right, and the Lord had a plan for Joseph. The Lord had a plan for Joseph being in Egypt and prospering, and Joseph has a role to play. And as we get further into the chapters, that role is going to be revealed.
And to bring it up to today, like I was just saying about showing how the Lord blessed them because of Joseph. And America, we built this great city. That's why America, Babylon the Great, is a great empire. Because the children of Israel built the treasure city for Pharaoh. Right? We made America great. Everything in America came from the mind of an Israelite. You know, the traffic light, you know, even down to clothing, right? The production of all the agricultural discoveries. What's that brother name? George Washington Carver. Right? And I even give him credit for the peanut, but he actually had a lot of breakthrough agriculturally, that a lot of his breakthroughs were implemented by NASA to take it out of space. A lot of people don't know that about George Washington Carver, Israelite. That it was not just a peanut, but he actually knew if you take a sweet potato and you plant it as your first crop, that once you harvest it, it replenishes the soil for nutrients to plant other crops. So if you're into farming and your soil or your land is not yielding its increase, what he discovered was if you take the sweet potato and you plant it, after you harvest it, any other thing that you plant in that soil is going to start yielding its increase because of the sweet potato. And I learned that from George Washington Carver. So those discoveries, you know what I'm saying? So those discoveries came from the mind of Israelite. That the NASA space program was because of 3 black women, and they made a movie about it called Hidden, what is it called? Hidden Figures, right? Because these sisters, they mind were like a supercomputer, and they came up with a mathematical equation to send a spaceship in outer space. So every discovery that came in America came from the mind of an Israelite that was stolen by an oppressor.
They capitalized on it. You know, that's how America is so powerful, and have a lot of resources and money. It's like the richest country in the world, because they steal our ideas and make money off of it.
Right, they steal it and bring it up to today. Kanye West, the Yeezy brand, right? He made a partnership with Adidas, but because of the present controversy, they terminated the contract, but they stole all his ideas and saying that now Adidas could take all the designs from the Yeezy brand and put it out under Adidas. But the reason why Adidas stock rose in prominence is because of Kanye West and Israel.
We can do one more 7. We'll go back into the 7th Hebrew. So I'll take it. We are at Genesis chapter 39 and verse 6. Waya Isaac, Ka, Ashar, Lawa, Ba Yad, Yawasa, Wala'a, Ya'ai, so Yada, Akwa, Ma'awama, Haya, Halakha, so Halakam, Ashar, Hawa'a, Awakal, Waya, Ya Wasa, Yapa, Ha Sakuta'ar, Wa Yapa, Mara'a. Verse 7. Verse 7. Ya Akar, Ha Da Rab, Ha Allah, Watha Sha'a, Asha, Adan Yawa, Yanya, Yawasa, Watha Amar, Shakaba, Amya, Waya Ma'an, Waya Amar, Asha, Adan Yawa, Han, Adanya, La'a, Yada, Ya, Ma, Babaya, Wakal, Ashar, Yash, Lawa, Nathan, Ba, Yad, Ya. Verse 9. Ayan now. Ga, the wall. Ba, Ha, Za. Maman, Ya. Wala'a, Ha, Shak. Maman, Ya. Ma'awa, Ma, Haya, Awathak. Ba'ashar, Ashahwa, Wa'aya, Aisha, Hawa'a, Hagadala, Haza'a, Wahata'aya, Layam. Verse 10. Waya, Ya. Kada bara, Ya wasa, Yawam, La, Wala, Shema, Al Ya, La Shaka, Atazala, Laha Yawa, Alma. Verse 11. Ya, Ka, Ha Yawam, Haza, Ya Ba'a, Ha Ba Ya Tha, La Ashwa, Mala Kahwa, Ayan, Ayash, Nashya, Ha Ba Ya, Sham, Baba Ya. Verse 12. Wata Kashawa, Baba Gadwa, La Amar Shakaba, Ya, Waya Azab, Bagad, Bayada, Waya Waya Naz, Waya Taza, Watazak. That's the end of this verse in Hebrew. So this is the Genesis 39 verse 6. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not all he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. So he left everything in the master of Joseph. He left everything in Joseph's hand, so much so that he didn't even know what he had left. He didn't know what he had left, except what he ate every day. He didn't know what he had, how prosperous he was.
Right.
Verse 7.
Genesis 39, verse 7. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me.
See, Joseph knew that he can't lie with his master's wife. He can't commit adultery. But the heathen don't care. They wasn't given our laws, so she didn't have the sense. The heathen's wife of the master didn't have the sense to stay loyal to her own husband. No, she wants to lay down with Joseph. Read on, Lord.
Genesis 39, verse 8. But he refused.
Being a righteous man, he refused. Read.
And said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he had committed all that he had to my hand. Verse 9. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High?
See, he definitely didn't want to sin against the Most High God. He didn't want to lose everything that was going good for him. He just wanted to be a righteous man. His master gave him everything. He was the greatest. He was the greatest under the master. He was the greatest in the house, and he was given everything. Everything was put in his hand except for his wife, because that's his wife. That's his master's wife. You can't touch his master's wife.
What stuck out to me was when Joseph said this great wickedness. He called it a great wickedness because adultery. You can't inherit the kingdom of heaven if we commit adultery.
Right.
That's how serious it is.
Right. That's right.
You said great wickedness.
Right. That's right. We can't commit adultery. You destroy families. You destroy that. The wrath of that man is going to be on you as well. The wrath of that man. So we just the wrath of the husband. We definitely can't do that.
And because it breaks all the commandments.
Right.
Remember, love the Lord with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy might, and love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two principles hang all the laws.
Right.
So now, when you commit adultery, not only breaking adultery, but you steal it. Because the scripture says when you get it a wife, you get it the possession, right? So you stole from that brother. Then now also, you're not treating your brother like yourself. You're causing strife within the nation. That brother could potentially put you to death. Or he put her to death because she lied with you. So now, so it just that's why it's great wickedness, because it could go in so many different directions against the laws of the Most High God.
Right. Christ said, when we break one commandment, we break them all.
All of them. Right. That's why it's great wickedness, because there's so much things that come into place.
That's right. Let's continue to read more.
Verse 10. Genesis 39 and 10. And it came to pass, as he spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her, or to be with him.
She was so intent on getting Joseph to sleep with him, she would go day in and day out to get him to lie with her. Joseph stood his ground as a righteous man and kept denying. Read on the word.
Verse 11.
Like a heathen woman, that's married, that has a husband, what did she get out of sleeping with a brother? Like,
She gets you to go against the laws of the Muslims.
that's her intention.
Right, to get you to go
Turn
against the
away from
law.
the Most High.
Right, to break his law. The number one, that's adultery. And number two, you're not supposed to marry, women of other nations, even women.
She's also lusting.
Right.
Never lust.
Right.
They are naturally lustful. Either women, that's just their nature to be, whores, because they cut from a different cloth than Israelite women.
Basically, because they don't have the laws of the Most High God.
They don't have the spirit.
That's where it starts, and they don't have the laws.
Right. That answer your question, sis? You can move on.
Verse 11, Genesis 39 and verses 11. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. Verse 12. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. He got out of it.
Yeah, he got out of there. He got out of there because he was on intent, not on lying with this woman. He wanted to keep the law. He wanted to keep the law, but this woman keep trying to lay a trap for him. But he got out. But unfortunately, she was able to hold on to his garment. So that's further on, but that's further down.
I like to bring it up to today because a lot of us, we read the Bible because it's these words are 2,000 years ago. We lose the connection, so I'll make a comparison. A couple of years ago, there was a football player, I think for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Was it Kansas City? His name was Kareem Hunt. He was in his hotel room. There was an oppressive woman outside his hotel room.
There was an oppressor.
Right, an oppressive woman, right? A so-called white woman. Banging on his door, calling him the N-word. Just because she wanted to get into his room so he could lie with her.
She was angry.
She was angry at him, calling him all type of names, right? He opens his door and he uses his feet to move her from in front of his door. The story wasn't that he called her, that she was calling him names, all these derogatory names and banging on his door. The story was that he kicked her. See, same thing happened to Joseph. She's after him, hounding him, and he left his coat in her hand, and then we're going to see how it's going to play out.
I have a question about that. Is that why whores get angry or frustrated when a righteous man don't give in to them? So they want to fight, they want to argue, they want to curse, they want to call you names, put you down because you won't sleep with them.
And a lot of times too is the demons, they work through people, and not saying that women are weak or anything like that, but they know because men love women. It's easier to get to a man by using the beauty of a woman to get to a man. So a lot of times you can see the temptation for a man, especially a righteous man, it usually comes in the form of a woman. Not saying that women are, if you have a spiritual mind, you don't understand what it means. Because men love women, Satan is always going to attack a man with a woman. It started with Adam. Right? He couldn't come to Adam, so what he used? Eve. Right? And the Bible says that. Through the woman, sin came into the world. Right? You look at Samson. His weakness was Delilah, a woman. Right? Then you look at David, what his weakness was. And then Solomon. And on, there's various stories. And even with the heathen men, with the story of Esther. How the Lord used Esther to get favor with the king to deliver the children of Israel. So even so, you can see it's not just in the Israelite culture, but even with a heathen man, right? That he used the beauty of Esther, was able to seduce the king to help her people. So to answer your question is, Satan always uses what a man loves, which is women, and that's how he try to get at you by using the beauty of a woman to attack men.
Yeah, that's why it's brought in the Apocrypha, and I think it's the first or second book of Ezra, when it says that women are wicked, they have power and control, but they're not more powerful than the truth.
Right. So, that's why Christ even came back and said, look not upon a woman to lust after her. So they say not supposed to look at a sister, but it's looking at her and then getting to your imagination with a lust of build.
Want to have.
You understand? So it's not the women. Women are beautiful, but it's what women are used against men to do to get a man in trouble. Oftentimes, you understand? So that's the power of women is in her beauty, not just being a woman. Right? So in this story, we bring it back to Joseph. Knowing that Joseph had favor with the king, there was a demon trying to get to Joseph to get him off his path. That's why it was at him, and he's using her. In this instance, we look at it, we thinking it's her. But behind her is a spirit. That's why she keep coming at, like you asked your question, right? Why she keep coming at Joseph? Because he's a righteous man. And the forces are always thinking of ways to go off the path. I think scientists, I don't know how true it is, but they came up and they said, for every righteous thought you have, there's about a couple 100,000 or even 1 million negative thoughts that follow. That's the type of battle that we have, and that's why Paul said, there's a battle within the members, right? And he always try to fight to stay under himself.
A messenger is Satan. He had a thorn.
No, I said Paul, the Apostle Paul, he said he stayed under himself, meaning because his mind is always wondering. There's a war within your members, meaning the spirit versus the flesh. That's the constant battle that we have to fight. That's what it says in the Apocrypha. But this is the condition of the battle that men on the earth shall fight. That battle is your mind. Right. Life is war. So we're constantly warring about keeping the laws of the Most High and the forces that's trying to get us to break the laws of the Most High. So this is an example of how it's playing out with Joseph.
So we're gonna stop it here. That was under verse 12, right? That was the 7th verse.
13 verses.
Oh, okay.
And 13, 39 and 13.
Okay, so with that, we're going to send up the prayers. Just a minute here. At Maja. Oh, yeah. Skip that part. Give me. So, that's the first part. My son Christ. We're gonna pass me Charles Ford.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah. La Yasha'ala, which means to Israel.
That we're gonna men of Israel, we're going to go and come to salute the Torah. And remember, when we salute the Torah, we have to make sure that we've been keeping these laws, such as commandments, throughout the week and consistently, so that when we salute the Torah, that we be in righteousness before the Most High God.
That's right.
What do you
It's Toab, sis. It's Toab.
Oh, you go.
Might be Shabbat. It might be. Barak. Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahushai. Barak. Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barak. And with that, imagine, which means to stand. Upon walk with them means turn and face the east. And we won't set up the prayers.
This is the Lord's Prayer in the Lashawan Kodash. That's Matthew 6:9-13. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Abaa, Tizaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baharatiza, Kawah, Hayah, Bashemayim, Netanyahu, Acham, Kal, Yawon, Wasalaknaw, Kabawakinaw, Wasalaknaw, Kabawakinaw, Abiyanaw, Wanasaiwan, Abal, Oshanaw, Mayan, Ran, Kaya, Lakan, Amalakwa, Wahal, Makapura, Walubium, Amen.
And then,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done in earth
As it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us our debt.
and forgive us our debts
Forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our
Lead
debtors.
us not
And lead us not
into temptation.
into temptation,
But deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom,
And the power.
and the power,
And the glory.
and the glory, forever.
So be it.
So be it. This is the prayer for the Hakat, the prayer for the power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Barakashah, Nathanael, Hakat, Kalmakala, Kalmadawa, Hakat, Latahor, Amatazariah, Lahakriam, Amakiam, Hakat, Arakuat, Atamahala, Lavar Shem, Shem Yahushai,
In English.
Yahweh,
In the name of Yahushua.
name of Yahushua,
Please give us the power.
please give us the power to heal,
All men are sickness.
all manner of sickness,
All men of disease.
all manner of disease,
Power to cleanse us.
the power to cleanse the leper,
Power to raise the dead.
the power to raise the dead,
Power to teach us the
the
spirit.
power against ugly spirits, to cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua, thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the prayer to bless Israel. This is Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai, Barakanawa, Yahushala, Rabayat, Sapari, Barak, Ba'ashem Yahushai,
This is to bless Israel in English. Yahweh. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua.
Name of Yahushua.
Bless us.
Bless us
And Israel.
and Israel.
The school.
And the school.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the blessings in Hebrew, the last one for that, the holy tongue. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahushai.
Wa Yahushua.
Wa Mayakala.
Wa Mayakala.
Wa Lahaya.
Wa Lahaya.
Batazabaya. Alawak Yahanna. Alawak Yahanna. Arasarania. Akwatazayaya. Achayayaya. Achawakia. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai.
In English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
In Yahushua.
And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels.
Commander
General, the general, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters.
Yahweh in Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms 121, the 121st Psalms, in the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue. I.S.U.P.K, I.S.U.P.K, Ahoria, Mahayan, Yahweh, Isaiah, Ma'ani, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waratazah, Ayathan, Amawat, Gagalka, Al-Yanawan, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawan, Wala'ah, Yashun, Shawmar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamnaka, Yawaman, Ashamash, La'ah, Yakaika, Wayarach, Alayla, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Yakalrai, Yashamar, Akapaska, Yahweh, Yashamar, Mazaka, Wabaka, Mayaka, Wa'ayla.
In English, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord.
Made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
No.
Behold,
He that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
will slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is the shade upon the right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
So shall I smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor by night.
nor the moon by
The
night.
Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in
From this time forth.
from this time forth
And even forevermore.
and even forevermore. This is Psalms 83 in the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue, the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayalaka, Al-Bakarash, Al-Dashakwat, Karyahana, Awayabika, Yahamad, Yawad, Ra'ash, Al-Amaka, Yawayembo, Sawadah, Wayata, Ya'aitas of war, Ayatas of a wonderka, Amora, Lakua, Wanakakida, Magawa, Wala'a, Yazakor, Shom Yashola, Ayuda, Kaya, Nawaitas of war, Laba, Yahadwa, Alika, Bayak, Yakarakwa, Aliyah, Adawom, Wayashamai, Alayum, Mawabo, Wagorium, Gabor, Wamuwan, Wamala, Halashak. I'm a Shabda. Hazawar. The Mashuar. Nagawa. Aimun. Hayawa. Zawawai. The Banya Lawai. Salah. Aishalahu. Kamadian. Kasaya. Sarah. Kayabyan. Banako. Koyashuan. Nashamadwa. Bayawan Dura. Hayawa. Gaman. Ladagwa. Sayatagwa. Nagayagwa. Kairab. Wakazaba. Wakazamanai. Kolasiyakadwa. Ashur. Amawa. Nawasha. Lanawa. Nawa. Alaya. Sayakadwa. Kagaldala. Kokwash. Lapanya Waka. Ash. Baba Ira. Wakalaba. Alaat. Hurry Kandaradama. Asa Iraka. Wabasa. Wakata. Dabalum. Mala'a. Panyahum. Walawun. Wakapak. Wayabakwashwa. Shankar. Yahweh. Yabashwa. Wayabaawa. Ayai. Wayabakorwa. Wayabagadwa. Wayabaidwa. Kayata. Shankar. Yahweh. Wabaka. Aliyawud. Al-Kaharataza.
In English, keep at thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo,
Thy enemies make a tumult.
thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
Have lifted up the head.
have lifted up their head.
Take a crafty counsel
For they have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden one.
And consulted against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
and
and let us cut them off from being a people.
but the name of Israel,
That the name of Israel
no more remember.
may be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
One can say,
with one consent.
they are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
Tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Israelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabor and Ammon and Ammonite, the Philistines,
The inhabitants of Tyre,
with the inhabitants of Tyre, assurance of the joy with them.
the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot. Salah,
You went to them.
you are to them,
The Midianites.
as unto the Midianites,
To the Sarah.
as to Sisera, as to Jabez,
Brook Esau.
at the brook of Kishon,
Which perished at Endor.
which perished in Endor.
Gave us done for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
And the number like the red.
They get nobles like a whale,
Like Ziel.
and like Ziel.
Yeah.
Yea,
All the princes.
all their princes,
As the bow.
as Zabah
As Amunah.
and Azamuna, who said,
Say to ourselves.
let us take to ourselves
House of God.
the houses of God in possession.
My God.
Oh, my power,
Make it like a wheel.
make them like a wheel,
As something before the wind.
as the stubble before the wind,
Fire burning the wood.
as the fire burneth the wood,
Flames the mountains on fire.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them
The tempest.
with thy purpose,
Afraid.
and make them afraid
Thy sword.
with thy sword.
Where the face of shame.
Fill their faces with shame,
Seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
Oh, Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Let it be confounded.
let them be confounded and thrown forever. Yea,
Let it be put to shame.
let them be put to shame,
That men may know.
that men may know
God.
that thou,
Whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh.
is Yahweh,
The Most High.
the Most High,
All the earth.
over all the earth.
Sar, which means to turn. We shall be to sisters, we mean to be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courteous salute. You can go, man. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courteous salute. Men of Israel, I'm on Shabbat. I'm out. Bro,
Yahweh by Hashem, Yahshua by
that's the top. We say it down. I'm out to the sisters. Sorry, turn to my sisters.
Sisters, your mind Shabbat is to, your head bow to cover, your feet connect at a 45-degree angle, your right hand claps up your left. And when we say Barak, you will salute. My mitzvah, we'll give the sister one courtesy salute. My mitzvah, Imam Shabbat, Imam Barak.
Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba'Hashem Yahushua.
Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba'Hashem Yahushua.
At the top, we say that, that's the next. If anybody wants to get anointed, step forward. Okay. You good, sister?
You better be anointed.
Step on this side.
Just cut the feet, sir.